Hey everybody, Matt Lambert here with Matt Lambert Consulting, and I am going to show you the latest car wash app that I just built to show you what it does and show you what an app that I built for you could do. So I'm going to first go ahead and log into the app here. And when you first log in, you are presented with this little dashboard right here. And here you can see over on the right your top 10 claim types, your car count for the day, and then any work tasks that have been assigned for that day. Okay, so first thing I'm just gonna go through each section of the application here and show you what it does, and know that while I'm doing this, that an app that I build for you doesn't have to do any of this, or it could do all of this and a lot more. This is just a sample of what an app can do for you. Okay, so a custom app. So um, over here, locations. This is the first area or section of the app that I want to show you, and that's because a lot of car washes have multiple locations, and they need to be able to manage their users and equipment and all sorts of assets for each location. So here you can add as many locations as you want, and then when you add users later on, it'll show you the users that are approved for each location. So we'll just go right to users, and I'll show you that real quick. Here's all my users in this app. This app hasn't actually been delivered to a client yet. It's just about ready to be delivered to a client. So there's not all of the data in here is fake. So just keep that in mind. On the permissions tab here, we've got the different locations, and then you can add a location to each user. So if this guy Jeb S here needed to add a location for him, I wanted to add Pine Ridge, and I would just hit that, and that's it. Done. I added him to Pine Ridge. And I can view assignment history. So for this particular user here, Jeb S, he's completed 2 projects, one yesterday and one today. Let's see here. Go back home. And the next thing I'm going to show you is the weather utility. This is to help managers schedule their labor for the day. So they're able to look at historical information and see, okay, on 12/9/2018, we washed 564 cars that day, and the condition was sunny and windy, low 49, high 68. So that tells you, if the weather report is looking the same this December 9th, then you probably want to look at your labor report and schedule labor accordingly. So it's just a tool to help them keep their labor down. And then it has some search functionality here. They can search by a location or a date range or a month, and quickly get to the data that they want to see. So for the car count, this is car count. They can record their car utility to record your car count each hour of the day. This particular car wash is only going to be open from 9 to 5 year around. So they have hours set up accordingly, and they just enter their total each hour off the counter, and they're able to record their car count in the app that way. And then anybody else that logs into this app as a manager or as an administrator can see the results of what other users have at their locations have entered, and they can see it live. So if I were to add a number here right now, if somebody else somewhere else at some other location was looking at this graph right here, it would automatically, like if I put in a 12 o'clock, it would show the 12 o'clock number for Pine Ridge or Tamiami right there immediately. I don't have to refresh the screen or do anything. It just as soon as they enter it, it shows up on my screen. So that's kind of handy. And then here you can run a search, and let's say you wanted to search the car count report from the 1st of December 2018 to the 31st. Not 2019, I don't want that. Okay, so after I've run my search, I get my results right here, and as you can see, I have not added, these numbers are really low. That's because, for a whole month, I barely entered any data at all while I was building this. Just enough data to sort of, help me make sure that, I had done everything correctly. But other than that, there's not a lot of data in here, and all the data is fake. So just keep that in mind. And then here I could either print this or save it as a PDF. I'll do that. It's password protected so that not just anybody can download a PDF and view it. And here you can see the location, Pine Ridge and Tamiami, and then the total for the day for 12/1 from 8 to 9 and from 9 to 10 and so on and so forth. And then each day, and like I said, there's a lot of days where I don't have data in there, so it looks kind of strange, but so that's the car count report on this, and then you can also print that out. I'm just going to go back home on this and take you to the next thing, which will be tasks. So on the tasks, I'm able to create a new task real easily just by selecting one here. I've only got 4 in the system, 4 task groups. But if they were to click on one of these, it creates a new assignment, and then you can assign either one person or multiple people to that assignment. So let's see. So I'm going to go over here to task groups, and I'm going to show you what the task groups look like. If I were to click on the detail here, I get task group setup, and here I can add a new task, test task, hit save, and I've brought up a new task, and I can add an attachment, maybe a picture or a PDF document with even more instructions or something like that. And then I can set a description for this task if I want, and then hit done, and there's my task. Now when I assign this task, all of these, or this task group I should say, all of these individual tasks for this task group will populate in their assignment. So I'll show you that in a little bit when we get to the mobile side. Now this app has it works on Macintosh and Windows computers, and then there's also a mobile part of this app that works on standard iPads. So they use iPads to take their incident reports, to do a lot of things. And so I'll get to that and show you all of that in a few minutes when we get there. So I'm going to go back home here. Send message. This is just a utility. I can send a message to my employees at an individual or at a location or the entire company. If I were to choose individual, come over here, hit the plus sign, and then select the users that I want, hit done, and enter our message title. And when I hit send, which I'm not going to do, it would send out an email the system emails people. So, and it can also send a text message if you put in uh, the right sort of email address, like a phone, um, text message email address, which this particular company is planning to do. So, so you can have it set up so that your employees can get a text message when you want to send them a message. Maybe you've assigned a task to that user and you want them to get the message right away, and you know your employees always have their phones on them, so you want to be able to text message them. So that's how the messaging works. Labor report. This is a fairly simple report that they just enter their labor for the day and other different metrics that they want to measure and keep track of. Total payroll is labor plus these three fields right here. And then site sales is just whatever they did in business for that particular day. And then the labor percentage. And then they put in their per car average for that day and their extras per car average per day and their detail average for that day. And then those averages average out over whatever time period you're showing here. And you can, easily, this is another, you can do just what you want. Must select a location. So I've only entered 2, but you can see all of my numbers up here have changed. All of my averages. So it shows you the average for whatever date range you've selected. And you can also do date ranges by month as well, month and year. So, and then you can save these reports as a PDF. You can print it, you can email it to yourself. And that's basically that. Up here, my messages. These are a list of my messages. So I can create a new message right from here by clicking this little icon here, or I can just open up one of the messages that have already been sent to me. So that's just a message I sent to myself, test. And you can see now I've only got one left there, and I can check these as read or unread. And you can see my unread number there, this little number right here, if you can see that. It changes when I have more or less. So they always know how many unread messages they have. And message history, this is just, a place to go and see all of the messages in the system that have been sent. This is for administrators, so like, the upper management for this particular company, they wanted the ability to be able to go in and read anything their employees send, anything they send to their employees. They wanted a history of all of that and be able to read it. So that is what message history is. Pretty simple there. Claims. This is a really nice searchable and sortable database for claims. So these can all be searched for. You can search by customer. You can sort ascending or descending on customer name. You can sort ascending and descending on all of these titles here. And then you can also search all of these different things. For date, it pops up a little date picker, so it's a little easier. And for some of like the users, no, not the users, but the problems, these will all show up as different categories here, and you can sort them ascending or descending. Plate number, same thing. Status, same thing. Okay, and then if I were to go and click on the detail of one of these, I would be brought to the detail screen for this, and it's just a real simple. They have certain cameras. They want to be able to isolate which camera should have recorded, the most significant information about this particular claim, and then there's a place to you can create notes. This is a note. You can create media. You can add a video or a picture, and then you can view the customer signature if there were one on this particular incident report. So here's one that I actually signed with my finger on an iPad for this particular one, and so you can see the signature there. And then here is some test pictures I took and videos that I've taken. Okay, so that's the incidents area, and then there's an inventory. Now, this will show all of the inventory for a car wash. So this particular company has 2 locations, and if I wanted to look at this particular product right here, this is called Fragrance Mist, and it looks like the stock is low, order more. I could click on that, but actually I'm going to show you this TWB right here. Tire, wheel, and body cleaner, and you can select the unit type or create as many different unit types as you want: gallons, rolls, singles. It shows you your units on hand. You can put in whatever price per gallon that you're paying for that product, so you can keep track of your stock value. And then you can view this worksheet here that will show you sort of the history of what's been recorded here. Now, this particular car wash only wanted the ability to be able to record either when they take receipt of something or exactly what's on hand. Okay, so, and I'll show you that on the mobile side. It's a real simple input form that they use here in just a second. But so, okay, this shows the units used if it's on hand, and if it's something they're taking in, then there's no units used. It's just something being brought in. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, I think I'm about ready to show you the mobile side of this app. Okay, so on my screen right now, you're looking at an iPad, and I am going to log in first as like a low-level employee, because there's two levels of employees that log into this, and so there's 2 different dashboards when they log in. Let's see, I can't remember what the password is here. I think it's just test. Enter. Okay, yep. Now, real super simple screen when they log in. And actually, I'm going to see, I assign this is test user. So I'm going to create an assignment for test user on the administrative side, and then I'm going to so I'm just going to change this to assigned, and I'm going to change this to test user, and I'm going to wipe out this completion date here. Okay. So now I am going to re-log in as that iPad user here. Where's my? Here we go. Okay. Test user. Test. Okay, so I can click on my tasks here, and you can see that I have one assigned task. Now, this just shows you your assigned tasks. After you've completed a task, it won't show up in this list here anymore. So I can go ahead and click on this particular assignment, and I can go down the list here and just check off each thing as I go. And then when I'm all done, I just select completed and then done. Close that. Here's a list of my messages. Okay, this is just a real simple car count entry. They don't have really any metrics available on this side of it. It's just a real simple input. So they don't really want their users to know how many cars they've washed that week or that month or that year, like the administrative side shows. So it's just an input only, and they just real simple input their hour, and that's it. And it does the little calculation there, and that's it. And then they can go back home when they're done. And if they're gonna do an inventory report, they go here. You can see at the top the location is Pine Ridge. That's because this user is a Pine Ridge employee. And if he's going to take some in, he just comes over here and selects in, and say maybe he took 20 there, and 10 there, and 0 there, and maybe 2 there or something. And then when you're all done, you just hit submit, and it lets you know that your inventory levels have been updated. And then you can see your units on hand over here on the right have updated. If I were to do on hand instead of in, then I'm gonna go say I've only got, this is, I'm just going down the list. I'm taking like maybe a paper inventory of all my chemicals in my chemical room, and then I've come back to the iPad, or maybe I brought the iPad with me to the chemical room if there's good Wi-Fi in the chemical room. So then you would just come here and enter in what you have. Okay, I've got 30 TWB, and I've got 29 of clear coat shine, and I've got 200 of those now, and 7 of those, and then I just hit submit, and you can see my units on hand changed exactly to what I just entered. And then on the other side of this, in the management app, I can go under inventory, and I can go to any one of these and look at the worksheet and see how much was used. So here when I did the in or the on hand, it showed I used 15. Okay, so pretty straightforward, pretty simple stuff. Actually, this is the one right here, 1.7. Okay, so you can see I added, I had used 25 there, and then here I added 20. Okay, so back to the iPad. And then I can send a message. This only has he can only send a message to an individual because of his permission levels Can't send it to like everybody at the location or everybody in the whole company, nothing like that. And then incident report. This is just, do you want to create a new incident report? Yes, I do. And then I'm able to come here and just quickly select the information I want, and I can put in all of my information. It's just like you would expect, pretty much. And year, make, so you fill out all of this information. You select the options here, and let's see, let's pick a common one, like a wipers, rear arm, and blade, or something like that. And then here you could add a new note. Hit save. And this is a note about this claim. It leaves a timestamp and the user that left the note. And you can leave as many notes there as you want, and you'll have a history of notes on each claim that you can refer to. Here, if I want to add a new a media, whether it be a picture or a video, I just come here and I select the label, whatever I want to call it. I'm going to call it whale photo, because that's what I'm going to do. Take a picture of a whale, and then I'm going to say maybe some notes, small scratch, or whatever you want to say about this, about this photo. And then I'm going to select image, and then I'm going to take a picture of this fancy whale on my wall here. If I like the photo, I'm going to say use it. And there's my photo right there. I could also do the same thing with a video. So I'm going to say video this time, and it automatically starts recording the video as soon as I do that. And it'll only take a 1 minute video at the most, because this particular client wouldn't want more than a 1 minute long video trying to upload. And there is my video. And then I can go ahead and sign this, and when I do that, my little disclaimer comes up here, and I can turn the iPad any way I want and sign this. Hit accept. And there is my there's my signature. So now I'm going to go ahead and log out, and I'm going to log back in as a manager. Now, this particular manager is approved to work at more than one location, and because of that, they're presented with a choice when they log in. Do you want to log into Tamiami, or do you want to log into a different location? If I were to say no and say maybe select Pine Ridge instead, then I'm logged in as Pine Ridge. And I guess it's good to show you that it doesn't matter the orientation, although it would help if I had this in the screen. It doesn't matter the orientation, it will still look good, easy to read on the iPad. And here, same thing about the car count, that's the same, but I can do tasks like you can on the administrative dashboard or through the administrative app. And all of the options are available here, so I can create a new one if I wanted to, or I can go to task groups and I'm only seeing the task groups for Pine Ridge because I'm logged into Pine Ridge. And dashboard inventory report. That's the same. This is just a simple utility to record weather, low temp, high temp, condition, or some comments about how the weather affected your business that day. And then, of course, you can see the car count is always associated for that location and that particular day. All right, go back to the dashboard, and I can send a message as well. I can add users a little bit differently. There's a little less functionality on this because that's what they wanted. New incident report, that's the same thing. Labor report. So this is where they would enter their labor for the day and their averages, and that's how they receive their bonuses, the managers, and then they can email this to themselves, print it, or they can log out or go to the dashboard. So that is, and then also they also have their own messages and tasks also right there. So that is the mobile side to this app, and this is just a small sample of what I can do. I've done a lot more for car washes, and be happy to share my expertise and talk about anything you might be interested in doing, whether it be creating like an iPad app that will be a point of sale app that will keep track of all your sales and then produce reports based off of your sales and locations and all of that. So there's really a lot. Sky's the limit. You can anything you can think of pretty much I can do, and hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for watching.